Hello everyone! For the 3 ways, today on Friday instead of Thursday, again live together. Ciao amici! So last time Sandy reminded us how people are scared to fly, and it's true. I want to remind you friends that imagine a mosquito, how much noise can create, and is so small. Same humans. We can create a big impact even by only using our voice or using our energy, as a mosquito does around us all night. So of course this is the first wise sentence I want to share with you, but now we're going to share an amazing topic with Glenn and Sandy, and maybe some guests will come live with us today. So we'll wait for Glenn and Sandy from America, LA and New York. Ciao Sandy, ciao Glenn.
Hello.
Ciao guys.
Both of you.
Thank God I made it, because sometimes I hate being unreliable, but yeah.
Where are you now?
In Switzerland.
You're in Switzerland.
Sì.
That's amazing. You know who lives in Switzerland?
Whom?
My hero, Phil Collins. He lives in Switzerland.
Ah, really?
Yes.
I have to say it's a beautiful country. I love it.
Never been. And then that's where they make the fondue.
Sì, they have amazing, I have to say, landscape. That's why you can do many activities, hiking, skiing in winter, swimming in the lake, in the river. It's very wild, even though it's so perfect. I love Switzerland, guys. You should come to Europe soon and have a little tour with Franci.
No. That'll be fun.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
So,
Where'd she go? We lost Sandy.
No. Yeah, we lost her.
All right, she's coming back. Right?
Yeah. How was your week, Nino?
Week is always busy. Jackie can't stay. She has a headache. Jackie, then come on. Come on the live.
And we're back.
And let me headache.
And we're back.
Great one. Sandy's back. Sandy, Jackie has a headache, and I told Jackie, come on the live, and I'll get rid of her headache that fast.
Amazing. I just recorded a hypnosis for migraines and headaches.
Yeah? Nice.
It's going on my app. Yes. And I also, that was like 2 days ago, today, because I'm recording at least one every day. I'm doing my best. You know how that goes, Glenn. How many hypnosises do you have in the Hypno Vault at this point?
Probably 140, 150.
Top.
Wow. Top.
Crazy.
Top.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it the Italian way with an A on the end. Top.
Exactly. Top with many P at the end.
And the way you say it sounds like tapa, like tapas, and that's perfect for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So why are we
It's a lot.
scared to fly in our life, guys? As Sandy suggested this question last time, and I love it, because we always want to fly. We always admire who is flying, but we always feel this block, and of course out of fear, out of prediction of something bad is gonna happen, out of I never done it, so it's better if I don't try now. So there are many different, of course, scenarios that bring us to this state of mind where we don't want to fly, and in many cases is right. But we are talking about, of course, in a metaphorical way. What would you say?
Well, we're not being metaphorical. We're talking about actually flying, like fear of flying.
Are you saying physically?
Sandy.
Yeah. And anyway, just to make this sentence sort of all make sense, because we started out talking about hypnosis recordings and Glenn's Hypno Vault, where you can get, what, like 140, what did you say, 150 recordings at this point?
Yeah.
And you keep adding to it. So I've got about 50. My app's not available yet. But so I did the recording the other day for headaches and migraines. And today, just before we started our 3 Ways podcast here, I recorded my fear of flying hypnosis.
Amazing.
So that's why I said what a great topic to talk about, fear of flying. That's why Francesca jumped right into it.
But I like where Francesca was going with it. She was going to the metaphorical flying in our life, for going for dreams, going for goals. So we can talk about both, because they're
Isn't it the same?
Yeah.
Why do you want to fly in the first place? Aren't you following your dreams and your goals and your wishes?
Yeah. It's true. It's both. Physical flying, and that was one of the hardest thing I ever did, and the greatest thing I ever gave myself was getting my pilot's license. That was insane. That was so hard. It pushed me beyond what I thought I could do. And it was also the most rewarding thing like I've ever done. And that was really cool.
Did you have fear of flying before that?
No, I never had a fear of flying. I just decided I wanted to fly airplanes and learn how to fly them one day. And then that kind of is a great metaphor for life anyhow, because that was right after my divorce. I needed something to pour my energy into to get my mind right and healthy again. And that was an undertaking. It took up all of my time. There's a saying that when I get busy, I get better. And I think that's so true for life. If we sit around just in our negative emotions and just wallow in that and complain and stay in that pity feeling, that becomes our life. But when we get busy with a project that's positive, that's growth, that's stretching, all of a sudden our life gets better. So when I got busy, I got better.
I love that saying. Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
Being active, I would say, Glenn, because sometimes being too busy, I'm sure you also mean being active, because sometimes people keep themselves busy, avoiding all the deep stuff they should focus on.
Yeah.
Active is one way, but it's also focus, just focus in general.
Yeah.
When you're, because maybe you've heard because I never heard when you get busy, you get better, and I love it, so I'm keeping that one in the bank.
Great
but
one.
It's a good one. It's a really good one. And there's another one that I've used, which is focus is sacrifice, meant in the best way. When you focus on one thing, you're unfocused on the other stuff. So you can get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
And it also means more like what it sounds like. When you focus on one thing, these other things that you may have been sort of wanting to do, it's okay to let them go. Sacrifice those for what you really want. But any way we look at it, Francesca, whether it's about being active or not, it's still about the focus. So activity can be a focus, breathing can be a focus, reading can be a focus, meditating can be a focus.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah, it's not about denying. It's about getting involved in your life and not just sitting in a place of pity. You know, when to do nothing, when we're in that unempowered place and just stay in it is not healthy.
Yeah, but also if we are consciously active, we can do many things without avoiding what we want to do, not only because we have to focus on something. So consciously means that we are present. That doesn't mean that we don't have to do the other thing. Like, for example, we must produce creation and understanding toward life, focusing on a job, on a mission, or anything that is bringing us grounded, but we also have to travel and explore the realms of magic and the soul. So I think the one doesn't exclude the other one, as many people find it as an excuse to do nothing just because they're working like crazy. They're doing everything they can and they avoid the best things in life to avoid feeling guilty, which is the opposite. You feel guilty because you don't do it, and is a passive aggression, negative comfort.
That's because they're not clear on who they are. When people are so clear on who they are and what their real goals are, then the path becomes clear. So people take action when it's not right, and it works against you, and there's no leverage in it, and it's exhausting. So it's got inspired action. So whether it's action or non-action, it's just about focus. And when I hear you, Francesca, talking about action, if someone can find the stillness in that action, yes. And if somebody's being still and they can find the activity, the mind activity in that stillness, any and all of those things are right. It comes down to focus. And I know we're talking about fear of flying, and I want to get to specifics on that, but right on this subject now, do you know how cortisol works in your body? Because I find this fascinating and also very simple to understand. Cortisol is one of those chemicals we get when we go into fight or flight. You know, cortisol, adrenaline, there's even dopamine in there. So it's the stuff that makes you run a marathon from a tiger if you needed to. And it's the stuff that makes you be able to lift up a car if you got to save your kids. So cortisol is like jet fuel. People think of cortisol as bad because we get it when we go into fight or flight, which is anxiety as well. So when we get anxiety, we also get too much cortisol. And for a lot of people, it ends up being belly fat because it's jet fuel. It's the stuff that makes you run from a tiger. But if you're not actually running from a tiger and you're just stressed out, the mind perceives it the same. It gives you the same amount of jet fuel, but since you're not burning it, it gets stuck to your belly and it makes you fat, right?
Yeah.
So
the mind is the problem.
Yeah, your mind's the problem, totally. So when we wake up yes, it's all in your head and everybody is out of their mind.
We know.
So when we wake up in the morning, we get a natural shot of cortisol. That is a good thing. Our brains are designed to do that. So what's the problem? Well, there are two ways people can spend their day, which is going to affect the end of the day. And I'll tell you, it's very simple. Way number one, you wake up, you get your natural shot of cortisol, and you go through your day and you do what you enjoy and you do your work and you take natural breaks. It's a good day. You've done all the right things. You eat well, you have friends you connect with, you do some progress on your work. You have a good day, which means you've taken some breaks in between, even a workout, and then you rest and you have your smoothie. And then at the end of the day, one of two things is going to happen. You see, because there's a switch in the brain. And this switch is like if you imagine a cup of espresso. I love the sound of and the smell of, when the espresso starts to come out, sometimes it pours into 2 little glasses at once. That's my favorite. I want just my tongue. I just want to stick my tongue right under that, right? So you've got.
That wouldn't be good.
Oh no! Yeah, so good. I've got some of it in here. Yeah. So the espresso comes out, right? So imagine one of those there's a switch, and that espresso cup is going to pour one way, or it's going to pour the other. The switch in your brain is going to give you one chemical or the other. Either at the end of the day, if you've had a good day, it switches and you get that nice shot of melatonin, which is the good stuff to make you sleep well. The problem with taking over-the-counter melatonin is most of the time it doesn't match up with you, the amount you need, and even your body's chemistry. So you might get lucky and find a good over-the-counter melatonin, and even if you do that, it'll only work for a little while. Your body's going to adjust around it. So
I'm an expert because I don't sleep. I have problems. I'm hyperactive. To sleep, I take melatonin, unless I have my little naughty with sometimes. I have this melatonin in liquid spray that I suggest to everyone. Actually, next time I will show the brand. Is the most natural and most effective melatonin, which is totally different from the pills they give at the pharmacy.
Fantastic. So even if you find a good one, like I know yours is, and I would want to take yours on a night that I couldn't sleep, okay?
Yeah.
If you begin to rely on that, then your body's going to find ways around it. I've had clients who they've been on morphine their whole lives, and even the morphine isn't working because your body acclimates, it adjusts. When you first drink a beer, that one beer is going to get you drunk, and then at some point, I've seen guys drink all 24 and they think they can drive. You know what I mean? So your body starts to recognize it and go, okay, I'm going to outsmart it. All right. So either way, at the end of the day, the point is, I think I talk too fast for Glenn sometimes. He just woke up and he's in California.
Like a lot of words. She just said a lot of words again.
A lot of words, but a lot of love behind every word. So it's just flowing at you. So at the end of the day, if you have had a good day and you've taken natural breaks, the switch in your brain gives you the exact amount of melatonin that matches perfectly exactly the best outcome for you, your sleep, which therefore means your healing, your release of fat cells, your rejuvenating and regenerating of cells, and getting rid of anxieties when you sleep. So all of the good things are going to happen if you take breaks during the day. Scenario number 2, and this is the only other scenario, you wake up, you still get that natural shot of cortisol at the beginning of the day. That's what your brain does, which is why I don't have coffee early. It's 12:30 almost, and now I'm having my coffee. Because in the beginning of the day, I enjoy that cortisol. I use it to my advantage. So I don't put coffee on top of it. I wait. So now you wake up, you have your natural shot of cortisol. Then you go through your day and you don't take natural breaks. This is not only for fear of flying, but for all things in life that have to do with anxiety. If you don't take natural breaks during the day, and let me be clear, because this is why I'm telling you this, it's what Francesca said. Even if it looks like you are taking a break, chances are most of the people we know are not. And it's almost worse, right? Because, Glenn, I think you might have this on your intake form too. one of the questions is, I am a person who doesn't enjoy vacations, and you can check that. And almost all of my clients check that because they go on vacation and now it gets worse. They're not taking a break at all, you see? So that's an indication of anxiety and too much cortisol, okay? So if you don't take those natural breaks, actually, let me be clear, don't be in the middle of work and make yourself stop. You're gonna make yourself crazy. Work as long as you're in the flow. But when you are resting, don't make yourself sit there and do a silent meditation. That's gonna drive you crazy.
And don't feel guilty you're taking a break, as many people do. They feel guilty, say, oh my God, I'm relaxing, I should go back to work. Don't. Enjoy your moment.
Yeah, but if you're not enjoying your moment, choose something else to do with it. Chances are Instagram is not going to be an actual break. It's going to cause all other kinds of chemicals to go off. Okay, it's like a gambling addiction. Anyway, so find the thing that's really a break for you. Then at the end of the day, if somebody made it look like they were taking breaks but they didn't, there's that switch in the brain that's going to give you one or the other. Instead of giving you a shot of melatonin to help you sleep well and rejuvenate and regenerate and release anxieties overnight, it doesn't give you melatonin, and in fact, it gives you another shot of cortisol. So at the end of the day, depending on how you spent your day, you're either getting melatonin to help you sleep or cortisol to go against it. And my sleep clients are the worst at this because they think they need a magic pill right at sleeping time or a pre-bed routine. Well, those things are fine, but they already, by the time they come to hypnotherapy, that hasn't worked for them because it's just changing behaviors, but it's not changing belief systems. So my sleep clients are worse than my weight loss clients because weight loss clients understand that it's what I'm doing all day long because you eat all day long. So they learn how to take natural breaks all day long so they get the melatonin at the end of the day. People who come to me just for sleep don't want to believe that it's how they're spending their day. But it's how you're spending your day. So how does this apply to being active or not active? Be as active as you want, but whatever you do, whether it's workouts, whether it's reading, whether it's working in a library, you must take natural breaks, especially from typing because your carpal tunnel, okay? You must take, and when you do, at the end of the day, you will get melatonin instead of cortisol. And by the way, last thing, people who are getting the cortisol at the end of the day, either they have trouble falling asleep, so they're tossing and turning, or they do fall asleep, but then they like wake up and can't get back to sleep. So either way, it doesn't go well, right? So those people who are getting cortisol at the end of the day are also getting it all day long, you see?
Yeah. Hypoglycemia is a big one that wakes people up at night. The blood sugar thing is huge for sleepers, and it wakes a lot of people up out of sleep, and they don't realize why. So sleep is a whole another, it's such an interesting place of study, sleep. And it's the number one killer of sleep, these damn things. The blue light stimulates part of our brain and doesn't let it turn off at bedtime.
I keep a Kindle Paperwhite. I keep a Kindle Paperwhite next to my bed. I don't use a phone before bed.
Yeah. Also, the idea, live the day activating mind and body connection, because if you use our mind only, our body is super active and we find a difficulty to sleep. Same if we only activate our body and not our mind, is the same. So the idea is to create this balance with few breaks and avoiding sugars if possible to fall asleep, but also to create mind and body connection to create this balance that makes you fall asleep so much faster.
Yes. So now let's take everything we talked about. Glenn, you're a master. Why did we have this conversation leading up to a conversation about fear of flying?
Why did we? Darn good question. I'm still thinking about melatonin and cortisol. Now
few spray of melatonin and we get hypnotized immediately, guys. Next time we treat.
Everything we do is connected. I use that phrase you use a lot. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Your approach to flying is interesting because it brings up it brings up for people, especially for control freaks, the fear of loss of control. That is a big one. When logically, maybe people don't know, pilots are the most trained professional in the world. They're regulated. They take regular medical exams twice a year. They have to do check rides. They have to do so many things. There is nobody trained more than a pilot. But the fear of loss of control, if you really think about it, do you really want control over flying a plane? You have no idea how to fly. So what is the loss of control? It's like, I'm going to do my own surgery. I'm going to do my own open heart surgery. You know
I'm like
I mean?
that. I was like that. My mother, I was so disappointed how I was such a rebel when I was young. I was always jumping into the unknown, doing things I couldn't control, and of course I was hurting myself. But I would say this comes from courageous people that still haven't find the courage to lose control. Because when you have so much craveness, if you crave so much, the power of control is because you can have it, but you don't know how yet. So if I can say something, guys, something that is regarding this discussion we are having together, I believe if you want to be wisely powerful, you gotta know that wisdom doesn't come from knowledge. So you know you are powerful as knowledge, and so you are powerful. No. Wisdom is from understanding, not from knowledge, because we know many things, but we are not wise. So the understanding of your power is the true power.
Brilliant. And you know, Francesca, as you're saying these wise words, I think you're coming up with good stuff every day. You're exactly right. Real knowledge isn't knowing more stuff. That's what you just said. Real knowledge is not knowing more stuff.
Yeah.
How did you describe it? I love what you said. What is real knowledge? Understanding, but that doesn't mean understanding more stuff. What does it mean?
Knowing things because you see them, wise people tell you, but if you don't understand what is happening, you are not wise. And in this case, talking about power is not about the knowledge you have of what is power, it's about the understanding of the power you want and have that makes you powerful.
If somebody watching or listening to this only took that with them and only that piece of wisdom for the rest of their lives, that's all anybody needs to know. True wisdom is compassion. That's it. Because that's it. You don't have to know a lot of stuff. Know-it-alls are annoying. Look at what happens when I talk too much. Glenn's brain blows up.
I do.
And you know what else, Francesca? As you're saying these beautiful, wise words, the image I'm having in my mind is you busting into the cockpit, picking up the pilot with one hand by the back of his shirt, tossing him out, and actually flying the plane. Because if anybody could do that, you could. And then you'd go, let me know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Amazing.
Help, take over. I don't know what I'm doing. I threw the pilot out.
I love it. That's amazing.
Talk, it's because of course I care for you, but also because I admire you a lot. Whenever you say something, I visualize it, and of course you're a hypnotherapist because you say it, feeling it is beautiful.
That is nice. That's really great. Go ahead, Glenn.
A lot of words are hard for me because I'm afraid I'm going to miss something, so I got to focus. And then my brain gets tired of focusing. Then I'm like, oh, what did she say? Then I got to process it. And then you're going ahead. I'm like, all right, what is she saying? It's difficult for me. But I try to keep up.
Glenn, for people like you, it's why we record this. And we call it the Three Ways Podcast. And it's available on Francesca's page on Instagram all the time. And on YouTube and on all the podcast platforms. So you can go back, Glenn.
And rewatch, try to catch what I missed.
And listen and rewatch. Yeah, this is really such a fascinating conversation and can be applied to all things in your life. So what we're talking about is when you have anything that's coming up that's anxiety related, because that's what fear of flying is. It's anxiety, right? No matter how you slice it. I often go as far as saying that a fear of flying is a fear of dying. And for some people, that's the case. For some people, that's the case. Not always. But when you think about that, when people shift their definition of what they think happens when we die, often all of those fears just go away. But if it's what did somebody say? She said wisdom is understanding something, not just knowing it. Beautiful.
Really nice. Yeah.
Laws of life coaching.
She put it in really nice words. Wisdom is understanding something, not just knowing it.
Beautiful, amazing.
Because just to go deeper a bit, I truly believe that when I think, okay, I'm practicing as a coach, I want to be a coach because I love experiencing life, sharing what I live, but then I'm also ignorant. And it's important not to base our power on knowledge, because I know many things, but I haven't lived them yet. So I have to accept I'm also ignorant. And I say it because that's the truth. And we never stop learning. And so to also be convinced that we're always right and is also wrong. And so sometimes when we get wise, we always think we're right, but we are not. So it's very important. That's how it started for me, this topic in my head and heart, because I felt this. Even though I'm learning and I still want to practice, I have to accept that sometimes I don't know the truth. And so the power comes from the understanding of my power, not of the knowledge I have, because I know many things.
And that's how we become really great coaches and leaders. People have often said to me, and you'll get it because you guys know me, and people are saying to me, like, Sandy, what's it like always being right? and and I respond with the truth, and I say, I have no fear of being wrong. When we release the definition of true power as having knowledge, I never say I'm right. I never say I know the stuff. I'm interested in the conversation. I'm interested in love. I'm interested in connection. I'm interested in working together, and the two of us together get to a new place because we get to explore, and that's joy, and that's evolution. So that's how we can do public speaking without fear.
Yeah.
Because we're not holding on to, I know a lot, I know a lot, I know.
Yeah.
No. I'm curious. I'm interested. I'm here. I'm listening. I'm excited. I have something to say. Curious. Yeah. So how does this have to do with fear of flying? Here's how. Because fear of flying is anxiety no matter how you slice it. You could break it down and say, you know, it's a fear of loss of control. Sure. You could say it's a fear of dying. Sure. It doesn't really matter what the story is. At the end of the day, when you look at the statistic that says humans feel 75% more pain than animals. Mm-hmm. And how is that possible? Because we're the only ones that we know of who can make it mean something. It's the stories we tell ourselves in our head that cause brain pain, which is anxiety.
Let's focus on this visualization. We don't have any fear when we are hungry. It's incredible. Like the animals, for example, in the animal kingdom, when people are hungry and they want to eat, they would risk to be killed because they're hungry. So how can we create this balance when we have so much hunger? By living, because otherwise our heart and mind are too hungry for things that have not been felt. As your stomach is hungry and would eat anything in the fridge because you are not fulfilling a void. It's the same within relationships. So approaching the world, approaching relationships, approaching food, approaching anything that is giving you pleasure as a connection in general. And so we are very hungry in today's world because we lack many things.
Yeah, it's filling that God-sized hole.
So when we're hungry, we have no fear.
See, when we are hungry, we are in no fear. And then the fear comes back when we realize that even though we are fulfilled, something is still missing. And that's the fear.
That's the same exact thing. It's so cool. It's the same exact thing as saying when we're busy. What was the line about being busy that you said?
When I got busy, I got better.
Yeah, when I got busy, I got better. Because you're busy finding the food, right? You're busy, hungry, right? I'm finding the food. And then when we take vacation is when we freak out. When we take a break is when our minds go too much. When I'm not hungry. Well, what do they say about countries, warring countries? When we are at war with another country, we unite. But when that's cleaned up, then we go into civil war. Right? Have you heard that? Learned the concept in history?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love to share this story about fear of flying if it's okay with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So for many years, I did a travel TV show. I was the host of the show, and it was called The 100 Best Places You've Never Been. So they would fly me all over just the United States. We were working on getting it overseas, but then we never did. But we went to about all 100 of them around the United States and places people hadn't been. I went to the Field of Dreams and played baseball.
Really?
Yeah. They shut it down since, but it was amazing. That was in, I think, Iowa. And I went.
Cool.
I climbed Devil's Tower in Wyoming because that was the iconic. You know that mountain? It's like red and it's like looks like it's cut off on top. It was Is it Close Encounters? One of those movies. It's been a while since I did that show. Yeah. We've been all over the United States. You know, we've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And was that
So cool, this vision, idea, project.
job ever? Oh my God. And the crew was amazing. Yeah, it was so great. And I was pregnant through for 9 months of that 7-year run. So before I got pregnant, they had me do crazy, dangerous stuff because I was very strong, physically fit, adventurous, and ready to go. And then when I was pregnant, they had stunt doubles for me. So there was a time when there was water skiing on what's Jane Fonda's dad's name?
Henry Fonda.
Henry Fonda. And what was that movie he did that was like on a lake?
Oh, yeah. I know. I can't think if I know what you're saying.
I know.
On Golden Pond?
Yeah, so there. So we went water skiing there. We went, or whatever it was. But anyway, we went water skiing there, but I couldn't water ski because I was pregnant. So we had a stunt double for that, right? So then after the baby was born, I would then travel with a nanny. They covered all of it. It was the greatest job in the world. So this one particular morning, I'm about to travel. My son is a few months old, and the nanny canceled, like as the car was going to her place to pick her up to bring her to the airport. And it was one of those where we were taking a big airplane to then take a small airplane to these remote places.
Yeah.
I've got a baby. I've never traveled with him alone. Anyway, long story short, I'm sitting waiting to get on the plane. I had no fear of flying before then, but now I'm a mother. I didn't realize I had a fear of skateboarding after I gave birth. I was like, what just happened to me? I had a fear of acro yoga. I was like, we're getting over this one. We are getting over this one. Yeah. I think weird things happen. Like, you know how like dads stopped driving their motorcycle, but you didn't stop riding a motorcycle. Did you, Glenn, when you had kids?
I bought a motorcycle. At the time I was married, and I came home one day with a motorcycle. I didn't tell my wife that I bought a motorcycle. She didn't like that too much. She wasn't very happy about that decision at all. And that motorcycle cost me a lot in couples therapy. I'll just say that. It cost me a lot of sessions in couples counseling. But when I got divorced, I actually sold it. And because I thought, two things happened. I had a friend of mine that died on a motorcycle. That was a really seasoned rider. And I was riding and my mind was paranoid because of him. And I'm like, this energy is going to create something bad. Because all I kept thinking about was him. And then I'm like, something bad's going to happen. Because all I'm thinking is negative, bad thoughts.
Can I interrupt you? I don't agree with that. Maybe I trust your intuition, indeed. But how do we recognize if it's the right intuition or if it's just the fear of having this passion for a motorcycle that as a man I find it so sexy, so beautiful? Why do you have to avoid this passion just out of fear? Let's share, of course, so we all go through the same different scenarios.
Yeah. Well, because in my head, I associated, after my friend died, I associated fear to that motorcycle. So my energy, my vibration was no longer enjoying it. My vibration was fear-based. And that scared me because like if all I'm thinking about is fear, I shouldn't be doing this because something bad is going to happen because I'm in a fear-based state and my vibration's really low.
Which
That's
is
why I'm not
different than superstition. What you're describing is different than superstition. You're recognizing your energy state. Yeah. Would you agree, though, that if your desire were big enough, you could shift that energy state back to joy? Yeah. So
Correct.
It's about desire.
It was.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, I have 2 kids. I live in LA. I'm getting divorced. I'm going to ride this a lot if I'm single. A lot. And I thought, maybe not the best thing to do. I have the fear I have this, I have that. So I just made a decision to sell it.
We
I
need
still have my
Morissette to write a song about that story, because isn't it ironic that the that the motorcycle that caused your divorce, once you got divorced, you're like,
That's exactly what happens.
There's a fly in your Chardonnay. So all right, so I'll finish the story. So here I am.
So good.
So here I am. I've got my little baby.
Meaning, Sandy, it served its purpose. But no, go on.
Yes, exactly right. Yes, thank you. That was like hanging. So here I am. I thought I was going to have a nanny to help me with everything with my baby. Plus, I'm getting on this now little airplane after the big airplane. And you know those little airplanes, you know. And I think somebody's got a remote control on the ground, and he's like 7. So I'm waiting to get on the plane, and all of a sudden I had this massive panic attack. I don't know if you guys have ever had these, but earlier in my life, I had been in the hospital for panic attacks before I understood what they were. Now I have a better understanding. So I was in the situation, and I thought, okay, I'm going to either puke my guts out or pass out or have a heart attack and die. One of those things is going to happen. The only thing that matters to me is my baby. So instead of going into the bathroom, hiding, or going, you know, into a corner to sort of have privacy, I took myself to the most highly trafficked area of the airport, and I sat on the floor because I knew if God forbid I dropped him, he wasn't going to fall anywhere. So I didn't care what I looked like. I sat on the floor. By the way, I'm a TV personality. And I'm meeting the crew from like, you know, CBS, right? So didn't care. Held my baby, sat right on the floor in the middle of everybody walking. And I thought, well, if something happens to me, someone will help my child. That's all that matters. And then I did what every hypnotherapist tells you to do, even Buddha. Breathe right through that suffering. Just breathe right through. Here you are. Relax into it. That's the only thing you can do. Release the resistance. You're going to puke. You're going to whatever. Doesn't matter. That moment of, when I tell you death is a better option, it's, I don't know if you've ever been in it, but it's awful, and vertigo and everything. So I just sat there and I was like, okay, all right, God, whatever, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. That awful moment lasted about 10 minutes, which is an eternity. That's a long time. And you think it's never going to end. Yeah. And I just sat there, and it kind of just passed. Not even all the way, but like enough where I was like, okay. And I just got on the plane and continued on. And ever since then, I've had this little bit of, you know, it comes back because I had an experience of it, right? So the relaxing into it, because there's nothing else I can do. There's nothing else I can do. Here I am. Even if I go home, I still have to get on an airplane to go home. I was in the middle of the journey, right? Between the two planes. So here, okay, you know, just like Calgon, take me away, right? It's breathing changes your chemistry, and I know that. And the more relaxed we are, the more control we actually have. And when we understand the wise words of my friend Glenn Rottmann, the most important relationship is the one between you and your thoughts. And when you realize you get to control those thoughts, someone in that moment in a fear of flying does not have access to knowing this information. Even though it's in there, they get blocked from it because of the chemicals from freak out. So when we work with fear of flying, one of the things I put into the hypnosis that I just recorded is, think about the hypnotic suggestions you've been given in airports your entire life.
Yeah.
Terminal, final destination. Was it last and final call? And what's the first message you get on the plane? If we crash, here's what you should do, right? And even when the pilot comes on and says, hey, we're going to hit some turbulence, that's like a bump in the road in your car. You drive on bumps in the road in your car all the time. Yeah. But so it's all this negative hypnotic suggesting, which is a good thing, because now you realize that it's been repetitive and hypnotic suggestions in airports. Now, when you see the word terminal, hear last and final call, when you hear in the case of emergency, or when you hear those things, now it's going to make you laugh. Now it's going to make you laugh. And now you get to reprogram new habits so we let the scary things trigger the new habit you want to create when you're on the plane. Even the sound and the vibration breaks up old limiting beliefs and releases them from you, which triggers breathing.
And all this chaos that can be defined as restlessness is actually, as I said last time in my recording, is pure passion, because passion is created by chaotic emotions. As we say, and Sandy and Glenn always reminds us, we have to control our thoughts, letting flow our emotions, feeling restless, becoming passion, and calmness from clarity. That's my vision about we need calmness that brings clarity. We need restlessness that brings passion, because passion, it's passion, it's not calmness, of course. Like, guys, what are we talking about? And then we control our thoughts, but not our emotions. Otherwise, we lose our essence. That's my...
Well, yeah.
We say
that's a nice little reel right there. That's a perfect little reel.
See,
I like it.
I say this to myself every morning.
What do you say to yourself every morning? What do you say?
Like I pray in bed.
What do you say? What do you say?
This will bring me clarity. Restlessness will bring me passion. And then I think, Francesca, control your thoughts, as I can be negative too, and let flow your emotions, being you.
You really say that every day?
Every morning as a poem in my head.
Did you ever post it as a meme?
No.
You should. That's perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider videotaping yourself doing it, saying it out loud to your phone, and then posting that?
I can if you want.
That would be amazing. I think people would really enjoy that.
We can all,
I love it.
we can all say it in different ways, and then I combine the videos and we post it if you want.
The things we say to ourselves every morning, I think that's the best, Glenn, because everybody wants to know what cool people like you guys actually do to make yourself so amazing. Glenn, what do you do in the morning?
You're not gonna like it. I snooze.
Well, no, after that,
snooze and I feel so happy. That's what I do in the morning. My favorite thing is when I don't have an early thing I have to do, and I'll get up and I'll just go back to bed and be like, oh, this is amazing. That's what I do in the morning. I snooze. But other times I'll get up and I'll meditate, and after that, sometimes I'll take a post-meditation nap. And I love that too. I'm really I'm a little slow in the mornings. You know, I don't necessarily get up, and I know some people have that morning checklist where they're like, get out of bed, do this, do more by 5 a.m. I'm like, I can do all that stuff during the day. I don't need to get up at 5 a.m. I'm productive enough. Time, you know.
I'm envious.
That's impressive.
It's terrible. Almost terrible.
Yeah. Uh-oh. We're losing Francesca.
Yeah.
But my morning routine is more about feeling calm and feeling happy. When I just get up, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I'm just going to calmly do this, calmly do that, and get started slowly. That's how I like my mornings.
What I heard you say is when you wake up, you bask in the appreciation of comfort, and there can be no healthier way to be. And in fact, it's leverage for the rest of your day.
Yes, those are exactly my feelings. I couldn't express those in the right words, but yes, I love that comfort. It's so good, you know? So what do you do?
I know, Glenn, I know you said that I would hate what you say because you and I are, you know, I'm New York, you're LA. It's like, so obvious. But just to prove how much I'm agreeing with you, the other day, so it happened before now, the other day I posted a video about how to really get the body you want without changing your diet and without changing your exercise. It's about taking a 30-day challenge to find soft and to drop in, because it's in that relaxed state, the calm state, the learning state, where we have the leverage to go further, better, more than ever before, and the body lets go of what it doesn't need anymore, right? So I have a video that explains that very thing that you just talked about. So no, I don't hate it. I love it. I just look different than you. I am just a little yippy dog with all of the best intentions. The way I wake up in the morning is beautiful Jennifer is next to me, and that's my favorite thing in the whole world. And then she turns her back to me and leaves. And and then my son comes in with my baby bird, and he, you know, and he's like, mama, mama, my bird. So the bird and the cat come and they do kisses, and then I scratch the bird with my left hand and the cat with my right hand, and I spend like 30 minutes to an hour just that. That is how I start my day, with my babies. And my daughter, my daughter kicking me somewhere. Yeah.
So that's also very calm.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best, and there's value in that. I don't say I'm wasting time petting the bird and the cat and my daughter kicking me in the knees. That's not a waste of time. That's the only reason I'm here. Is for that moment. Yeah.
So beautiful, Cindina.
I like it. I like it. All right, so we got Francesca's prayer in the morning. My snoozing in the morning. You have your bird, cat, kids, Jen, and all of those things. So that's amazing.
So before we go, you guys are pros. What are the hard and fast bullet point suggestions? Somebody comes to you for fear of flying. I know it's the hypnosis that works more than anything else. So we hypnotize them and it changes the belief systems. But in just a cognitive talking way, what are just some things you tell people, give them nuggets for fear of flying people?
I'm always bad. I say, do you prefer to fall or to fly? In any case, hurt yourself. Just fly and whatever.
Fall or to fly. Yeah.
Right.
And I don't go into too many logical things because fears don't exist in our logical brain. So you can tell somebody till they're blue in the face that there's 80,000 takeoff and landings every day in the world, and you very rarely ever hear of an issue. In fact, we hear about it so little it makes the news everywhere when it does happen. It's the safest form of travel, but those things don't seem to help because fears aren't logical. So I don't really give, I use those in the context of a hypnotherapy session. I use that, and then it makes a lot more sense when we're out of that
Good point.
conscious state, But I mean, there's so many things I could say about flying that are so safe, but they don't land where the fear.
They don't land.
Exactly. It reminds me of they don't land. Like, have you heard that? You heard that rumor about butter? Have you heard that rumor?
What?
About butter? Yeah, I better not spread it.
Oh,
Those two.
All right, dad joke moment. So yesterday, Bodhi says, somebody called up and said, hey, what's your password for whatever the game, Minecraft? I want to get on. And he's like, oh, no problem. I'll give you my password. It's Superman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and then goes on and on. Like that's the password. And the guy's like, wait. That's like Glenn. That's too many words.
Yeah.
Your password is Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Batman, right? Green Lantern. And so he says, well, yeah, because when I was making the password, they said it needed to be at least 8 characters.
Got it. That's good.
That's also good. See? Love these quotes.
All right, so wrapping it up, fear of flying, there are some things that I like to pass along. One is, and I would put this in the hypnosis if this person's personality fits something like this, if the flight says terminating at JFK, when you hear that or you see terminal, think Terminator and just say to yourself, I'll be back. Right? That's kind of a fun one. But my favorite is, and I'm giving away my biggest secrets, and I tell my clients, because one of my favorite things to work with is fear of flying. Let's be clear, it's not a fear of flying, it's a phobia, but that's another conversation. Either way. So people will constantly text me when they've landed. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. My life has changed. It's amazing. And I tell them the biggest secret is this. And then I'll tell you the secret in a moment. But after I give them the secret and they say that it worked, because it does, I say, please promise me you will not go online and give me a 5-star review and give away that secret, because I'll have no more clients left. Because there's one secret that works better than anything for fear of flying, and I'm not kidding. And what I tell them is, and I'm only telling you guys, so don't tell anyone, okay? What I tell them is, when you're at the airport, grab a cheeseburger before the flight. Now, if you don't eat cheeseburgers, a bagel and cream cheese will do. A piece of salmon will do. The secret is fat and protein, because it stabilizes your blood sugar and it gives you access to calming yourself down, period. And my clients will say, I don't eat bagels and cream cheese anymore because I'm one of those healthy people. But when I fly, I get the bagel and cream cheese or the cheeseburger. I look forward to it now. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but flying is now my favorite thing. It's a reward and it works. It changes your brain.
Yeah, such a big secret, by the way. And we will also
say that again, Francesca.
In secret, I love it.
Yeah.
Don't tell anyone.
And me, a secret, when I'm depressed, I eat chickpeas and the depression goes away. That's also another secret.
For real?
Yeah, for real.
Now I feel even better that last week you called me Sandy Hummus.
Yeah. No, hummus, to be precise.
Hummus.
I'm addicted. I love hummus. I mean, I'm a bit addicted, I admit. But every time I eat it, I feel my sadness goes away. I feel, of course, because chickpeas are an antidepressive, natural antidepressive. So hummus is very concentrate and it's very good. But your secret is amazing. So,
yeah.
Well, you could, if you really love hummus, just add some extra olive oil or tahini.
Yeah.
Because that's the fat and that'll do the trick. Yeah.
Someone join us live. Maybe not, because it's been 1 hour. Maybe it's going to cut off.
Yeah. And I don't know, Glenn, if you're seeing the same thing, but Francesca's pixelated to me at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
I think we're gonna lose her in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. It is. You're all pixelated. We can still hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But,
and we feel your beautiful essence glowing through, and that's all that matters.
What do you see, guys? Tell me this.
You're just a bunch of fuzz. You're just fuzzy.
Yeah. We fuzz. It's all fuzzy. So all right, let's. It's been an hour, so very cool on a Friday. Kind of many topics in different areas.
We got it. We got around to it. We got to our final destination.
Yes.
All right.
Or to the
take out.
destination, because the final destination, it's the reincarnation of our soul. I'm too glad to that.
All right. So take us out, Francesca.
Okay. Guys, I miss you already. Can't wait to see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Okay. All right. We'll see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Dream team. Baci.